Welcome to day 2 of Let's Play the Blues Together. In today's lesson, we're going to switch it up a little bit and we're going to do the key of D, and we're also going to go to a slow blues. So we're going to take the tempo down a little bit. I know we were hustling a little bit in day 1, so I thought this would be a cool chance to kind of use some higher chords here on the neck, but kind of slow down the tempo and the feel a little bit so you guys can feel what a slow-paced blues would feel like. So get tuned up. I'm going to show you the chords and also the strumming pattern, and we're going to spend a lot of time just playing along together. Here we go. All right, so let's take a look at the chords here. So as I've talked about before, the only 3 chords we need in the blues are the 1, the 4, and the 5 chord. So again, there's a key chord chart at allforuke.com where you can check that out. And I also recommend checking out the 12-bar blues video or last week's session where we talked a little bit about the 7th chords. So the chord that we're going to start with is our 1 chord, and now we're in the key of D. So what chord would that be? You got it, that's right, D7. So I'm going to show you the simplified version of these chords, and then I'm going to show you some secondary variations of these chords that we're going to try to incorporate a little bit today. So the first version of D7 I'm going to show you here is just using middle finger on the 2nd fret on the G string and ring finger on the 2nd fret on the E string, and that sounds like this. Our 4 chord is G7. So the G7 simplified version here, we can just take this D7 shape and shift down 1 string. So now we're on the C and the A string, and then with our index finger we're going to place that on the E string on the 1st fret, and that would sound like this. And then finally we have our 5 chord, which is an A7, and that's a nice easy transition as well. We're going to take our index finger and move it up here to the C string on the 1st fret, and we have our 5 chord. So when I say 1, 4, and 5, D7, G7, and A7, you can totally just use those throughout this video if you'd like. But if you're looking for a little bit more of a challenge, and maybe you're trying to incorporate some bar chords into your playing and kind of progress your chording, here's a couple other options for you. So another D7 option I'm going to give you here is barring the 2nd fret with your index finger and then placing your middle finger on the A string on the 3rd fret. This is also a D7. Sounds a little bit different than this one. And the 3rd version of D7, which I will incorporate a little bit today as well, is barring the 5th fret and then placing your middle finger on the C string on the 6th fret, and that sounds like this. So we have 3 versions of D7 for you to experiment with today. So we have the 1st position, our 2nd, and then up here on the 5th fret. And what's cool about the blues is maybe one time through the progression, you play 1 version of D7, the next time through you try the bar chord. You can always vary these things up with this simple formula, which is one of the cool things about the blues. So now let's talk about the 4 chord, the G7. So again, we have this 1st position G7. Now I'm going to show you another shape here. So our F7 shape looks like this. So if we take this F7 and move it up 2 frets, it goes F, F sharp, and then if you move it up another fret, it becomes G7. So we take that F7 position, move it up 2 frets, and then we add our pinky here to the A string on the 5th fret, and we now have a G7 chord right here. So that would be middle finger on the 4th fret G string, ring finger on the 5th fret C string, index on the E string on the 3rd fret, and then the pinky on the 5th fret on the A string. And then for our A7 chord, all we're going to do is take this shape and we're going to move it up 2 more frets so that our middle finger is on the 6th fret. And now we have our 5 chord, which is A7. So I'll use that a few times today when we play through the progression so you can hear the difference in what it sounds like to play A7 here and A7 here. So again, mix these in, try these shapes, challenge yourself a little bit to kind of try to play some new chord shapes. It's also going to just kind of help you as a player in learning some new chords. So now that we've talked about the chords, One more thing to mention about the chords before I forget here is that flat 5 chord. So we're here on the A7 chord, and when we do our walk down, and we talked about walk downs a couple times before, we're going to go from A7 to G7. There's that little in-between chord, which is A flat 7. So if I'm on A7 during the walk down, my in-between chord or my passing chord would be A flat 7, so my middle finger's on the 5th fret. And then I resolve to the G7 with my middle finger on the 4th fret. So we have A7, A flat 7, G7. So those are the chords we're going to use today, and then we're going to get into the strumming pattern. So we're going to keep using the same strumming pattern from day 1, which is just a variation of the island strum. So let me just do a quick demonstration of that for you here, holding a D7 chord. Now, because we're going to incorporate some mutes into this, these bar chords or chords that are covering all of the strings are going to play to your favor. So here with the barred 2nd fret and my middle finger on the 3rd fret on the A string, I'll demonstrate the strumming pattern. So again, it's the island strum, and I want you just to keep the island strum in mind. We're just going to change a few of the notes here to mute, so it doesn't matter, it's still the island strum. So the island strum is down, down, up, up, down, up. We're going to make this down, mute, up, mute, mute. So one more time, down, mute, up, mute, mute. All right, so in episode 1 we talked about incorporating the blues scale. So by a show of hands or in the comments, how many of you tried to use the scale as we were going through the play along? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to know if you're trying to play some of these scales or just kind of focusing more on the chords. So we used the C blues scale because we were in the key of C. So the cool thing about this scale is, now that we're in the key of D, all we have to do is shift everything up 2 frets. So the D scale, we'll start here with our index finger on the D note, which is 2nd fret on the C string. So we have index. And then we're going to reach out to the 5th fret with our ring finger. You could do this with your pinky. It might be more comfortable with your ring. And then we're going to play the C string again. So we have 2, 5. Then we move down to the E string. And we're going to play the 3rd fret with our index, the 4th fret with our middle, the 5th fret with our ring. So we have C string 2nd, 5th fret C string, 3rd fret E string, 4th fret, 5th fret, and then we finish off the scale here playing our index on the A string on the 3rd fret and our ring finger on the 5th fret on the A string. So let's just walk through that scale once. I'll just count us in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 2, 3, 4. So if you want to try to play some melodies, a couple little riffs throughout the play along, that's the scale that you will use, and I will leave a PDF on the All for Uke website if you want to check out that scale and work on it a little bit more. So without further ado, let's hop into the play along. All right, so we're going to play along together now, and this week I thought it'd be cool to incorporate the metronome. So if you want to practice this with a metronome at home, I'm going to do this at 76 BPM, so you'll hear that in the recording. This is a good way to kind of keep your tempo nice and steady. We're going to do a slow blues, and our propensity is always to speed up, so this is going to keep us nice and slow, keeping that nice blues feel as we go. So as we do this, I might use a couple different variations of the D7 chord. Feel free to try some different ones, see what works for you, and let me know how it goes. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 chord. On the 1. To the 4 chord. Back to the 1 chord. To the A7. Then 1. Back to the 1 chord up high. And then 4 chord. Then 1 chord. Feel that groove to the 4 chord. Back to the 1 chord. Here comes the walk down. And then the turn around. Last time. 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 4 chord. And then the 1 chord. Here comes the walk down. Woo! And then the 1. So that is the blues in the key of D. I hope you guys had a chance to maybe try a couple solos in there, play some riffs, get acclimated with some of these higher neck chords. I think that'll help kind of build your chord library a little bit more to kind of get out of this first position. People are always asking me how to play other variations of chords, and I think actually putting them into application is the best way to start learning them. So try them with this. The progression's going nice and slow, so it's a good opportunity to try out some of these new chords up here a little bit higher. If you like this lesson, again, jump over to allforuke.com. I have a PDF put together with the scale pattern as well as the 12-bar blues formula in the key of D, in addition to some helpful hints that I put together for the members of allforuke.com. If you're not subscribed to the channel, get in the know, hit that subscribe button so you know when the next video is coming out. We're releasing a couple videos every week. And also, I wanted to mention, I'm playing these beautiful Kala ukuleles, so if you like these ukes, you can get them at allforuke.com. Support the channel. Kala takes care of all the shipping, handling, payment, and all that good stuff. And a little kick comes to All for Uke for your support. My name's Kevin. I thank you so much. Join me back here for episode 3 next week. I got more blues coming for you. Take care, guys.